My name is Samantha and I'm an accredited practicing dietitian working at IPC Health. IPC Health is a community health organisation based in the western suburbs of Melbourne. We have campuses located at St Albans, Sunshine, Deer Park, Altena Meadows, Hoppers Crossing and Wyndham Vale. If you'd like to access any further information about IPC Health, you can visit our website at www.ipchealth.com.au. Alternatively, you can also contact our head office at Deer Park on 9219 7142 if you'd like any further information or to access any of our services. So today we're going to talk about the Australian Guide to Healthy Eating. The Dietary Guidelines are also available at www.eatforhealth.gov.au. The Dietary Guidelines outline the foods that are required for health and well-being for both children but also the whole Australian population, so for adults and for older Australians as well. The guidelines firstly recommend limiting discretionary foods. So discretionary foods means the type of foods that we don't need in our diet for general health and well-being. These type of foods generally are really high in salt, high in sugar, high in fat. If they're eaten, these foods should be eaten just sometimes, just occasionally, and in a small amount. Some examples of discretionary foods are things like chocolates, cake, ice cream, processed meats like salami and sausages, ice cream, chocolate, meat pies, pastries, store-bought burgers and chips, and other sugar-sweetened beverages, cordials, soft drinks, these kind of options. The guidelines also state that low-fat diets are not suitable for children under 2 years of age, and that salt should be limited in children's diet and not added to the cooking and not added at the table. So the guidelines also recommend consuming a variety of foods from the 5 food groups. So the first food group is vegetables and legumes. These foods within this food group are high in fibre, which is really good for your bowel health, keeping you regular, as well as contain lots of different vitamins and minerals. The next food group is fruit. This food group is also high in fibre, which is great for our insides, as well as being really high in vitamins and minerals that we need for good health. The third food group is what we call our grains, cereals. Mostly the whole grains and high fibre cereal options fit into this food group. This food group has lots of vitamins and minerals, it's high in fibre, and it's good to give us energy to do what we need to do during the day. The fourth food group is the lean meats and protein group. So this group is quite high in, as we said before, the protein, so really good for growth and development. It's also a really important food group for a nutrient that we think about a lot with children, which is iron, which is essential for their brain development and their immune system. The next food group is the dairy or non-dairy alternative food group. The main sort of nutrient that we're thinking about in this food group is calcium for those strong bones, but this food group is also a really important source of protein for growth and development as well. On top of having a wide variety of food from these food groups, the guidelines also recommend consuming plenty of water as the main fluid source during the day. So what I'll do now is outline the recommended serving sizes and serving amounts for the 2 to 3 year old age group. If you would like further information about how these serving amounts increase as the children get older, up to 18 years of age and then into adulthood, you can access those dietary guidelines at www.eatforhealth.gov.au. Okay, so we'll start with the vegetable food group. The recommended amount of serves for the vegetable group is 2.5 serves per day for children in the 2 to 3 year old group. One serve looks like either could be half a cup of cooked vegetables, and the types of vegetables we're focusing on here are things like broccoli, carrot, corn, etc. Or it could be 1 cup of salad style vegetables, things like your lettuce, cucumber, etc. Or it could be 1 medium potato. The next food group is the fruit food group. So for the 2 to 3 year old age group, the recommended amount of serves is 1 serve of fruit per day. What is 1 serve of fruit, which is always the confusing bit? It could either be 1 medium apple or 1 medium banana, so about similar sized piece of fruit. It could be 2 smaller pieces of fruit, so this example, 2 small kiwi fruit, but it could also be 2 small apricots. Or something that comes up a lot in clinic is, what about fruit juice? It is classified in the fruit group, but it is a sometimes fruit option, so maybe once a week, and the portion size is 125 ml of fruit juice. So roughly that's sort of half a cup. We prefer children to get their nutrition and their fruit serves from the fruit. It provides the fibre, and we don't have a lot of that sort of sugar sitting on the teeth, which can happen from the fruit juice and the dried fruit, and increases the risk of dental issues. So the next food group we'll talk about is the grains cereals, the whole grain group. The recommended amount of serves per day for children in that group is 4 serves per day. So what does 1 serve look like? Could be 1 slice of bread, and that would be preferably wholemeal or whole grain. It could be half a cup of cooked rice or cooked pasta. And that half a cup that I'm referring to is just your standard sort of baking measure, half a cup that you'd have lying around at home. The next food group is the meat and protein food group. The recommended serves for the 2 to 3 year old age group is 1 serve per day. And like we said before, this increases as children get older. So what is roughly 1 serve of the meat or protein group? It might be, for an example, 2 medium eggs is 1 serve. Or it could be, roughly that's about a 65 gram piece of red meat, piece of steak, which is about 90 to 100 grams raw. I'll show you on my hand roughly the portion. So it's sort of roughly that palm size. And that would be your palm size, not little kiddie's palm size. So yeah, 1 serve a day in that protein group. And the last food group that we're going to talk about today is the dairy or dairy alternatives group. So the recommended serve size for the 2 to 3 year olds is 1.5 serves per day. We do have quite a lot of children that do consume a lot more milk than is required, and it tends to mean that then they're not meeting the recommended serves in those other food groups that we've already spoken about. So 1 serve in the dairy group is the equivalent of about a 200 gram tub of yogurt for the 2 to 3 year old group. Or it could be 1 serve is also 2 slices of cheese, or about 40 grams of cheese. With children, we do consider them meeting these sort of requirements and these amount of serves. We do look at it over the week. We know that children do eat differently on a day-to-day basis, depending on their appetite, depending on whether they've been at childcare that day or at home. If you'd like any further assistance, or if you're not quite sure if your child's meeting their nutritional requirements, you can ask to see a GP, and they would be able to either give you some recommendations or refer you to a dietitian. You can speak to your maternal child health nurse, or you could also always speak to IPC Health and ask to be referred to a dietitian for some further advice. Thank you and hope you have a lovely day.